What's up everybody, Dominic Folletto here, and today I got a great video for you. We're going over how to get recruited and what's the best way to do it. Let's get after it. Before we get into this video, I just want to give you guys a little background information about me. I played D1 soccer at HBU. I was a 2-year captain there. And my recruiting process wasn't normal. It was a little different than other people's, and I think that that's why this video is going to be a little bit more hitting home to everyone, because not everyone gets to play MLS Next. Not everyone plays Academy, but I know, like every other kid in this country, they want to play a little college soccer, and who's to stop them? So hopefully this video will give you some tips, some tricks, and we can get after it. All right, so in this video, we're going to come up with 5 key points. And point number 1 is going to be the environment in which you're playing in. Point number 2 is going to be the emails that you're sending to college coaches. Point number 3 is going to be the proper way to make a highlight video. Point number 4, ID camps. Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? And then point number 5 that everyone loves to talk about, your grades. All right, so jumping into our first key point, your environment. And I think your environment is one of the most important things that's going to lead you into playing college soccer. The reason I say this is because you need to be on a team that you feel comfortable with. You need to have fun with it. You need to enjoy the game, because we all know when you're enjoying the game, you're going to play more freely, you're going to play more openly, you're going to have a lot more confidence on the field, and that's what the college coaches want to see. Now, obviously, there's a lot more to it. And then once you find that team, is that team putting you out there in front of college coaches? Are they going to showcase tournaments? Is your rankings good? Is that kind of stuff going to attract coaches to come out to your games? Is the coach going to volunteer and spend his time speaking on your behalf, or is he just there to collect a paycheck? You know, these are all things that kids don't think about when they pick a team, and that's something that I want to shed a little bit of light on. And then finally, in the environment category, the one thing that we have to do as soccer players, which I feel is the hardest for most people, is to be honest with yourself. Are you a D1 player? Are you a D2 player? Are you a D3 player? Engage how you are versus your teammates versus your competition. And if you don't really know, ask your coach. Ask kids who've played at the college level. Ask. That is a huge thing. You gain more knowledge by asking questions. So I think that is super important. And once you have all that sorted out, it is now time to make the most perfect email that's going to tell every college coach in this country why they need to sign you. Okay, so the first thing about making an email is knowing who to email. And the biggest thing is like we talked about in the first thing, in environment, you need to be going to showcase tournaments. And every showcase tournament will have a website with a list of all the college coaches that are going to be there. Okay, so as you can see, all I've done is I've just Googled Dallas Soccer Showcase Tournaments, and then I've just found a good little website, northtexassoccer.org, and they'll give me a list of showcase tournaments in the area. We're going to go to this top right corner, find the menu bar, list of college coaches, and then boom, all the colleges, all the coaches, they're all right here. It shows you their division, it shows you the head coach, assistant coach, and super important, guys, do not just email the head coach. Email both. Email everyone that's going to be there, because they're probably watching so many other kids that they got to divide and conquer. So make sure you're emailing all the coaches you possibly can. So you need to take a look at that list, figure out who you want to email, and now it's time to draft one. A good little template for you guys to show how you should make an email for a college coach. So if you look at the start, I introduce myself. I'm a junior at Forney High School in Forney, Texas. There you go. I told them where I'm from. I play for FC Dallas, and I'll be attending the Disney Showcase Tournament. Make sure you tell them where you're playing. Then I said I would like to invite you to see me play. We are currently ranked number 1 in Texas. You put that there to grab the attention of the coach, right? Then I jump into the bracket that we're in. I tell him the date that we're playing, the time that we're playing, and the field location. That is super important, guys. Be as specific as possible. Make it as easy as possible for these coaches to know exactly where to find you. Then we jump into the specifics, the stuff that the coaches need to know and need to find out. I'm Dominic Folletto. I'm 5'9", and I'm 135 pounds. I'm a little beanpole. I was tiny back in the day. My position, I played outside mid or forward. My GPA, 3.93, and my class rank. I gave him my class ranking. So you give him some stuff that makes you stand out. I was an MVP, newcomer of the year, first team all district every year, region honorable mention. These are things that are going to make coaches want to come see you. Guys, do not waste your time in the email telling the coach stuff he doesn't want to hear. All they want to see is how good you are, where you play, and the reason that they should come see you. Give them the superlatives. Were you an MVP? Do you have 20 goals on the season? Things of that nature. Do not tell them that you're a starter or that you play on the team. They know that. They already know that, right? So we got to give them something that's going to make them want to come out. And then the most important part of the email. I'm attaching my highlight video to this email. They want to see you. If they don't know who you are, give them a reason to know who you are. So then you give them attachment to your highlight video. They'll check it out. Hopefully you impress them. And now it's time to jump into our third key point, the highlight video. Let's go. I cannot stress this enough. You have to have film. You have to have film of you playing because sometimes just your accolades and your team ranking isn't enough. They want to come see you play. So with that being said, hey, if mom's got to hold a camera, mom's got to hold a camera. You know, we got to get filmed some way. And that's just what it is. If you'll notice, the first thing in my highlight video is I made it on Huddle. You can see it in the bottom here. Hopefully your high school team or your club team can create you a Huddle account because it's the quickest and easiest way to make a highlight video. Super user-friendly. But if you'll notice, the first thing I do, my height, my weight, where I play, my position, my number. Number's super important. And then some more accolades to get them thinking about what you've done. And then you see, as soon as I start off this video, and it might be a little grainy, the first thing that I put is me doing a bike. That's going to grab their attention and let them know, okay, maybe this guy's serious. So always, always, always put your best goals at the front. And then after I scored my bike, you just want to put all the best goals or all your best plays at the front. That way, they see that you're an absolute baller early, and they don't got to waste their time watching a whole 20-minute video, which leads me to a great point. This is a 6-minute video, and this might even be long. You need maybe 4 to 5 minutes, maybe even less. And then please, guys, when you're making your highlight tape, do not just post you dribbling and going nowhere. Don't just do moves for no reasons. They want to see goals. They want to see assists. They want to see moves that lead into an assist. They don't want to see just regular things that anyone can do. Show why you deserve to be on their team and why they need to come see you. Tape right here. And I'm going to show you an instance of what you should put in your video and what you shouldn't. So here's what you should put in your video. I'm 1v2 here. I got to beat them, split them. That's something people want to see. Okay, and then here's a video of something that you probably shouldn't put in your highlight tape because it just doesn't have the same effect of what the first video had. This is me up. I get the ball. See, I have space. I dribble. I dribble. I dribble. I dribble. I dribble. All I'm doing is running straight. I'm not doing anything. Now, did I get my team up the field? Am I holding it? Yes. Did I complete the pass? That's great. But guys, that's not going to get someone's attention. Okay, so to just wrap all that up, just remember, we got to have video, use a user-friendly subscription base such as Huddle, and then do not put pointless video on there. What's going to grab attention? Goals, assists. And then once that highlight video speaks volumes, that coach is going to come to you, watch your game, see how good you are, and then possibly invite you to a camp or invite you to an official visit. Okay, so when it comes to college ID camps, I'm very torn. I'm not exactly sure if it's really good or really bad. So what I'm gonna do for you guys, I'm gonna make a little pros and cons list so that way you guys can make your own decision and not have to just hear what I have to say. Okay, so in the pros category, it's a good experience. It's a great way to meet college coaches, and sometimes these camps have multiple coaches there. So it's a good way to put yourself in front of multiple coaches instead of just one. Another pro is it's a good way to base how good you really are versus people that you wouldn't normally be playing against. I mean, when it comes to these camps, everyone's trying to play college soccer, so you can really test yourself and see, am I good enough against these kids that are also trying to go to the same program? A really, really big indicator for me when I was going to camps is if the coach knew I was going to the camp. If the coach knows you're going to the camp, then they've already got their eye on you. But if you're just blindly going to a college soccer camp without the coach knowing, well then your luck is as good as any if you just have a bad weekend and you don't show out. Now, if you do show out, that's great, but that's a risk you're willing to take, which is a risk we can take. It happens. You can do that. Now, time for some cons. Camps are expensive. They really are. And if you are going on a whim that you're going to get signed from this camp and it's $400, $500, that's a big risk to take. Another con would be going to a camp and the coach doesn't know you're there. Sometimes, to be honest, these camps can be money grabs because if there's 150 players there, a college soccer team is only trying to recruit, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 kids the whole entire year. So if you're not the top 3 or 4 kids out of 150, that's just money down the drain. And then my final con for camps is you're put in a position where you're playing with kids you've never played with before. They don't know how you play, you don't know how they play. And the chances of you really catching fire and making all the right plays are kind of limited just due to the fact that everyone's trying to be noticed. There might be a little bit of ball hogging, there might be a little bit of selfishness, and that's just something that you got to realize. So if you're a forward, you might not get the service you're used to, you know? So that's just, and that's just the name of the game though. If you're a good player, you're gonna figure it out, you're gonna thrive. So don't let these cons deter you from going from camps, but this is just stuff I want you guys to realize and see, because this is stuff I didn't realize when I was going to all these different camps. And so my final takeaway from camps is, well, they're not all bad. I actually got recruited from the camp, and 2 of my teammates at HBU also got recruited from the same camp. We were on the same team at the same camp. Now, the coach knew I was coming, and he had his eye on me the whole time, and then after the camp, he went and watched me play 3, 4, 5 more times just to make sure I was the real deal. But, you know, they're not all bad, but again, they're not all good, so it's just kind of a judgment thing. Use your best judgment, use the pros and cons list that we made, and let me know what you think. Okay, and now we're into our 5th and final point, grades. And grades, I know everyone hears it, it's super important, but I'm here to tell you, someone who graduated college 3-4 years ago, I don't even know, grades is one of the biggest things that you can focus on in your recruiting process. Okay, so I'm going to lay this out for you guys real quick. I'm going to show you guys how many scholarships are available at each division of college soccer. Okay, so as you can see here, I Googled how many soccer scholarships at each division. So here's something that everyone needs to understand. Division I soccer schools, there's 205 of them, and they only give out 9.9 scholarships. D2, 214 of them, they only give out 9 scholarships. And if you're going to play Division III soccer, there's 415 of those schools, but they don't even give out athletic scholarships. And then you have your NAIA, 188, and they give out 12. Okay, and to put this in context for everybody, at my Division I school, HBU, we had probably 28 kids on the roster, so that's 9.9 kids to give out the scholarships to. Split that up by 28. Those aren't good odds. Since I had good SAT scores and I had a good GPA, the college didn't have to worry about burning a whole scholarship on me, but instead they could use half a scholarship on me, and then my grades covered the rest, and then I didn't have to pay for college, which is huge. The truth of the matter is, grades is the reason a lot of great players don't play higher up in college. A lot of kids got to go the JUCO route first. Why? To get their grades up so they can get accepted into these big D1 schools. I know I talked about it earlier. Oh, you want to go to Stanford, play soccer there, #1 school in the country. Do you know how hard it is to get into Stanford? If you can't get in, you're not going to play there. So please, 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 I know your parents tell you all the time, but take it from someone who's been there, done that. You got to focus in school. You got to get good grades. And at the end of the day, you might get more scholarships because of your good grades than because of soccer. Because as we know, there's not that many scholarships to go around. All right, guys, so I know I said there was 5 key points, but I want to get one more point in. Does this college have your desired degree plan? If you want to go into nursing, I don't know, and that school doesn't have nursing, that's probably not the best college for you. Now, don't get me wrong. Your degree plan can always change, and you can always want to do something different. Mine changed like 2 or 3 times. But if you know for a fact exactly what you want, you better check to see if that school has your desired degree plan before you commit. Do you want a small or do you want a big school? Do you want to go to a school where you're in class with 400 other kids and you can't ever talk to the teacher even if you're struggling? Or do you want to go to a small school where there's 20 other kids in the class and maybe you make closer relationships with your teachers and they can help you out and they know your first name? These are things to think about that most people don't give a second thought. One thing that people really don't grasp, and I think it is so important, when you're being recruited by a school, you need to take a look at the current roster. You need to see who's in front of you, who plays your position, what year they are. If you got a senior playing your position, then that's great. They're going to graduate and you can go fill their shoes. But if you're trying to play your first year and you're not trying to redshirt and there's a sophomore starting in your position, well, that just got a lot harder for you. So that's really something that I think people need to understand and really need to take a look at. And finally, for real now, this is the final thing I'm going to talk about. Do you want to play soccer at a high level, or do you want to go into student debt? And I know that anyone watching this is probably going right over your head. But as someone who graduated 3-4 years ago, me having zero student debt is the greatest thing ever. Not having to owe any money is great. So just know when you're going into your contract negotiations, because they are contracts when you sign to play college soccer, just know if you're paying all this tens and twenties of thousands of dollars to go play soccer at a school, is it worth it? Is it actually worth it to you? And I know that's a tough conversation, but that's something that you need to have with your parents. All right, guys. We've done it. We did it. You know how to go get that college scholarship because I helped you. So I hope this video was very informative for you guys. I hope maybe you learned something. If you didn't, well, my bad. Really appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you subscribe. Subscribe to the channel because I've noticed every time I say subscribe, people subscribe. So we should probably do that. And just let me know what you think in the comments. And I really appreciate you later. I'm trying these little transitions now. Peace. Peace. Peace.